Alright, so there was a comment and it made me want to break down, and I decided instead of breaking down, I'm going to try to teach. Here is the actual comment. As someone who is actually diagnosed as anorexic, this is a huge slap in the face for those of us who are anorexic. Weed doesn't fix anorexia. You're just coming up with an excuse to smoke weed. This is seriously insulting to the eating disorder community. I've literally lost an entire me since 2015. I went from 260 pounds to 130, a size 20 to a size 8. I eat once a day and I force that meal in. And if I don't have weed, that meal comes right back up because my body doesn't want to accept food anymore. When I used to be on medication for my bipolar and schizoaffective, I was made to eat food with those medications. And I was upset with the fact that I had to eat 350 calories a night. It bothered me the entire time I was on the medication. But I'm still considered too fat to be anorexic, so everything is a lie. So I found this article. I didn't write this myself. You know, people are gonna say, well, you must have written that article if it agrees with you. Marijuana and eating disorders. It was just updated on December 6th of 2021. Smoke marijuana, get the munchies. It's a favorite cliche of stoner parodies, but one that doesn't do justice of the potential benefits of medical marijuana for the treatment of eating disorders. It's well known that marijuana can be an agent for appetite stimulation, making it a valuable therapy for mitigating the weight loss sometimes associated with conditions such as HIV, AIDS, and cancer. Sorry, I wanted to make sure it was still recording. But that's not the only benefit cannabis therapies can provide for the more than 30 million Americans who will suffer from some sort of eating disorder in their lifetime. What are eating disorders? The American Psychiatric Association defines eating disorders as illnesses in which people experience severe disturbances in their eating behaviors and related thoughts and emotions. Among the most common of these disorders are binge eating. This is the most common eating disorder in the United States. It involves uncontrolled eating beyond the point of feeling full and often to the point of discomfort. Binges are often followed by feelings of guilt and shame. The condition can lead to weight gain and obesity. Bulimia nervosa. This condition combines binge eating with subsequent purges involving self-induced vomiting, laxatives, or compensation behaviors, such as fasting or over-exercising. Affected individuals may be slightly underweight or normal weight or overweight. They could be anybody. Anorexia nervosa. Though less common than the two other major disorders, anorexia has the highest death rate of any mental disorder. Sufferers feel they are overweight even when dangerously underweight, and this leads to severe food restrictions and physical wasting. Additional, less common eating disorders include rumination disorder, which involves regurgitation of food without any subsequent compensatory behaviors. Pica, which is the consumption of non-nutritious or non-food items, and restrictive food intakes, which involves undereating without the body image issue of anorexia. So I guess they would for now call me restrictive food intake because I guess I would have to be nearly dead looking to be considered anorexic. Eating disorders, mind and body. A common but erroneous perception of eating disorders is that they are caused by bad behaviors or lack of self-control, when in reality the medical and mental health communities view these disorders as stemming from a combination of biological, behavioral, psychological, and social factors. Research has also identified a genetic component to eating disorders. The understanding that there are both psychological and biological components to many eating disorders opens the door for potential marijuana-based therapies that address both aspects of these conditions. Within the mental health community, there is an acknowledged link between obsessive-compulsive disorder and eating disorders. The International OCD Foundation reports that 64% of individuals suffering from eating disorders also have an anxiety disorder, and more than 40% have OCD. It therefore stands to reason that therapies addressing anxiety and OCD might have a positive effect on eating disorders. A growing body of basic and clinical research indicates that the endocannabinoid system plays a role in anxiety, fear, and repetitive behaviors. At the same time, patients with OCD who smoke cannabis anecdotally report that it relieves their symptoms and mitigates anxiety, and several cases report patients whose OCD symptoms improved after they were treated with cannabinoids. Taken together, these findings suggest that the ECS could be a potential target for novel medications for OCD. Marijuana appetite and metabolism. In addition to its potential role in providing relief from the anxieties and compulsions often associated with eating disorders, such as anorexia and bulimia, marijuana and cannabis derivatives may trigger some physiological changes that might mitigate both the onset and consequences of eating disorders. A study of female bulimia nervosa patients using positron emissions tomography PET scans revealed that these individuals exhibited underactive endocannabinoid system activity as compared to women who did not suffer from the condition. In another clinical study, young women suffering from anorexia nervosa received 4-week administration of synthetic THC. This therapy produced significant weight gain in the subjects. Clinical trial results published in Neuropsychopharmacology identified cannabinoid receptors CB1 and CB2 as playing a role in the control of food uptake, and postulated that alterations of the endocannabinoid system, such as imbalances of anandamide and leptin, could be involved in eating disorders. Anandamide plays a role in the regulation of feeding behavior, and leptin acts to alter food intake and control energy expenditure. The trial result confirmed this hypothesis, showing a correlation between these imbalances and anorexia nervosa and binge eating disorders. Cannabis has been shown to play a role in both the regulation of leptin levels and in the stimulation of anandamide release. A review from the UCLA School of Medicine suggests that marijuana may serve not only to stimulate appetite but also provide a regulating effect. Marijuana may play a critical role in the leptin pathway of appetite stimulation, and continued research in the field may lead to obesity prevention and treatment. This same regulating potential could prove valuable in resetting appetite triggers and fullness thresholds, which could provide a physical mitigation for compulsive disorders such as binge eating. Marijuana's ability to regulate key metabolic processes may also explain a phenomenon which we have previously reported on at length, which is the finding that cannabis users on average have a lower body mass index than the general population, and that they maintain this lower BMI while eating a higher daily caloric intake. Whether used to control anxieties and compulsions, stimulate appetite, reset the body's food triggers, or influence the metabolic process, there is growing evidence that medical marijuana may provide a valuable tool for those struggling with eating disorders. As new research on this subject emerges, CanMD will continue to keep you updated. So, if you don't believe me, there are literally actual people researching this, that marijuana is helpful for people with eating disorders. And honestly, it hurts that my existence is a slap in the face to real people. Real people will always see me as just a slap in their face. And if this person actually has an eating disorder, the only reason they would be saying something like this to somebody else with an eating disorder would be to trigger them into going further into their disorder. Y'all can say that I'm the one that's messed up, but it's not right to gaslight somebody like this, to claim that you literally have the disorder that they have, and that you can't that I can't possibly have this disorder because it belongs to you.